Hello friends, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan in the Stamford Bridge studio, and of course welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series, every ruddy day here on the channel where we reflect on what's being said in the headlines. For whatever it's worth, I'll give you my opinion, and more importantly, ask for yours. Chelsea players scoring goals. Hot dog, did you know it was a thing? Well, they do when they're playing with their country. Mateo Kovacic with a brace, Enzo with a screamer. Positive stuff there. And the Times speaking about Mason Mount. The Times. Mason Mount wanted by Tommy Tuchel over in Bayern Munich. How much money we'd want for him? Of course, people like Simon Johnson talking about Chelsea finances on TalkSport. Everyone's talking about Chelsea, and I am too, and you should too. I will always urge people to comment throughout the videos, and of course, if you want to support that thing, you simply drop a like, click the button, and a lot of you, hey you, right now, you come here every day, you enjoy the content, thank you, click like, man, just do it. If you want to subscribe, you're welcome to join the, Jan Army? Right, well, let's just quickly run over some international positivity. Mateo Kovacic scoring a brace. 2 goals. The 2 goals in Croatia's 2-0 win over Turkey. Yeah, man, that's like pretty wild. Did he score goals now? I swear he scored the other day for us as well. He scored that wicked little outside the boot ninja finish, like wha! That was like, maybe he's like a goal scorer now. And if we do sell Mateo Kovacic to Bayern Munich, because obviously he's been linked, actually he's been linked to a few teams. Don't like Man City looking at him as well? I don't think we should sell Mateo Kovacic. I know we're re-signing N'Golo Kante, and that's a good thing. He's smiling in training. We're all feeling good. We are. How can you not feel good about that? Provided we're extra careful, doubly careful about his injuries, sign him up on a new deal. It's N'Golo Kante. Enough said. Mateo Kovacic will have 12 months left on his deal in the summer. Chelsea will listen to offers for the 28-year-old that is sometimes wearing the captain's armband in the Chelsea starting 11, or all the time at the moment, in the absence of Thiago Silva and Aspi. Of course, Jorginho's gone as well. So he's wearing the captain's armband, he's scoring goals, he's 28, he's a Champions League winner, well, multiple Champions League winner, but one actually featuring. And 12 months left on his deal with, like, he starts for that in that Croatian midfield with some great, but basically, like, even at 12 months, Chelsea will be like, bang, 40+ million. We'll make a profit on him and he'll have 12 months left on his deal. That's what I think, probably. Which would be good business. And if we are truly rebuilding the midfield long term, maybe. And then you say, look, we're going to start Enzo Fernandez next to N'Golo Kante as a starting, when fit, 2-man midfield, which would be good. And then therefore make some much needed finance money on Kovacic. I don't know, man. If he's going to keep scoring goals and he's wearing the bit, I'd like to keep him. What do you think about Mateo Kovacic? Comment down below. Enzo Fernandez scored a lovely long-range goal as well from outside the box. Argentina had a wonderful 7-0 win. He got a lovely goal in there. It's just good for him to score goals. And generally, I think, apart from the Reece James scare, I think the international break's been okay for Chelsea in terms of being injury-free. Of course, Chilwell got his clean sheet as well, played well for England. Fine, good. Let's move on and talk about the Times. Alright, what's this geezer's name? It's an exclusive. Oh, it's Tom Roddy. It's an exclusive on the Times. Mason Mount wanted by Thomas Tuchel at Bayern Munich. The German club are hoping to take advantage of the England midfielder's contract impasse. Now, Mason Mount is wanted by a multitude of top-tier football teams. Liverpool have done a lot of groundwork, apparently, to sign him already. He's apparently drawn a line in the sand and says, look, this is where I'm at. If you don't want to do it, then fine. will move on. But if you want to do it, great. Again, I think if they could find, they'd both like him to stay. But at the same time, they're both prepared to not have that happen, which would be very sad. But at the end of the day, Chelsea will move on. My heart will go on. So yeah, be very sad though. He's a great player, Mason Mount. And also, like, he will be okay going to Bayern Munich. Dude's already been abroad when he was a teenager to play football. Bayern Munich are considering taking advantage of Mason Mount's contract stalemate at Chelsea and the club's financial problems by making a move for the England international this summer. So Mount, 24 years old, will only have 1 year remaining on his deal left at Stamford Bridge, and at the end of the season, and the likelihood of the 2 times Chelsea Player of the Year, consecutive years, that the club has grown, really hammering the nail that Chelsea are expected to want at least £50 million for the midfielder who came through their academy. True, Raheem Sterling had 12 months left on his deal at Man City as recently winning big trophies. He was £47 million for Chelsea. Mount will be a bit more because he's younger. Granted, he hasn't got all the Premier Leagues like Sterling, but he's got a Champions League, and he's an England international, and a goal-scoring central midfielder who can retain good tactical information is worth a lot of money. So yes, at least 50 million would make sense. And if he, for example, if he went to Liverpool and played very well for Liverpool for 8 years, Liverpool fans would look back and laugh how they, took our 2-time Player of the Year for 50 million. Which by that point will be absolutely no money at all. That would be tuppence. Thomas Tuchel, the newly appointed Bayern head coach, is a strong admirer of Mount, whom he considered a key player during their 18 months together and was part of his Champions League winning side in 2021. Bayern are already attempting to poach Chelsea's assistant coach Anthony Barry, of course we spoke about this yesterday, who worked with Thomas Tuchel and remained in place when Graham Potter was appointed to the role, with the two clubs locked in talks over a compensation package. A mutual agreement has been made that Barry remains away from Cobham until this is reached. Yeah, Matt Law of The Telegraph reported yesterday that Chelsea aren't angry with Anthony Barry. They probably know that they're angry with Bayern. And maybe Tuchel, but that's a bit tough really, isn't it, for Chelsea? I don't think they're angry at Barry. Barry's probably just been like, look guys, I'll stay if I have to, but I want to go, just to let you know. I understand I'm under contract, but I've just got to be real here. So they're not angry at him. They understand this sugar happens. And they said, look, mutually and respectfully, just don't come into work for the moment. Just go chill, because you're not going to have beef. We need to be really focused on the next game or whatever. So we'll see what happens there, but that kind of makes sense. Chelsea have already been planning to trim Potter's 31-man squad. 31-man squad! During the summer, after signing 9 players in a record £323 million spend during the January transfer window. The Todd Boehly Clearlake ownership total expenditure on players stands to about £600 million since taking over the club. The reported loss of £121 million for last season, which followed losses of £153 million the previous year. So yeah, that's why it didn't seem so much, despite being sanctioned. The losses weren't as crazy as I thought they'd be, and I think you're allowed to lose nearly that anyway, from if you're a club of Chelsea size. Anyway, the previous year underlines the need to raise substantial amounts of cash by selling off players to avoid breaching Premier League rules. Interesting how this is saying Premier League rules. Chelsea in their financial statement says, they said UEFA and Premier League as things stand, that they're not breaching those rules. Maybe they're entering a sort of turbulent period, or the next cycle of, it's every 4 years, isn't it? Or something like that. But Simon Jordan was also talking about this, about, he was talking about selling Mount for 70 million or whatever. I'm not sure if that's a bit ambitious with 12 months left on his deal. But but he also talks about Loftus-Cheek, could be sold for a few quid. Conor Gallagher, all these kind of players that came through the academy. Is I keep forgetting the term he uses. Is it soft cash or soft equity? Basically, free money. I should really figure out the actual official terms. But yeah, so Chelsea have the potential to be totally fine just by flogging these players for even just good deals. You know, there's like 120 million easy just there between those players. You know, Conor Gallagher's worth a few quid. Like, you know, Chelsea have already said 50 million, so maybe you trim that to 40 million. He gets sold. You know, he's being used by England a lot. You know, Gareth Southgate played him in both those games, those competitive European qualifiers. And he's young and he's played in the Premier League and he's played at loads of different clubs. You know, he's good. His injury record's good. Conor Gallagher's got to be worth £40 million English international. He's just got to be. So, you know, you speak about him, and there's a decent amount of cash there to be sold should Chelsea choose to sell those players. Co-controlling owner Boehly last summer began initial talks over extending Mason Mount's deal while acting as interim sporting director. Paul Winstanley, the new co-sporting director, has since taken on the duty of negotiations, but a deal has not been struck, and there is a widespread expectation at Stamford Bridge that Mason Mount will leave. So Paul Winstanley's the geezer that we got from Brighton. Interesting. So let's just finish up this article. We can talk about it. Liverpool have expressed a strong interest in signing Mount as part of the Jurgen Klopp reboot at Anfield, but they are among the group of clubs in the Premier League and across Europe that are watching the situation closely. Mount has been one of the lowest paid players in Chelsea's squad since signing a new deal before making his first team debut in 2019. So we basically gave a contract to play in the first team, but as a kid who's just come from the Championship. So that made sense. We should have given him a new deal 12 months after, on like doubled his money, because even then he would have been on less than Ruben Loftus-Cheek's deal or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So he's probably pissed off that not only is he not being offered what an England international who has his output and won his trophies or whatever he feels should get, but he's also probably thinking of like the tens of millions he's already missed out on for being such a low paid player in the Chelsea's first team for nearly 4 years. Yeah. Since Frank Lampard. Since then, Mount has won 36 caps for England and has been one of the regular starters under Southgate. And of course, he wasn't involved in the last two because he's got an injury, the last two, but he was called up to the squad. Incroyable. Look, Matt Law says it would be an effing disaster if Chelsea lose Mason Mount, and a really poor look for the ownership. I tend to agree, man. Like, I'm not like a Brexit Chelsea Mason Mount Lacobham till I die guy. If he goes, he goes. Chelsea will survive. But it's just going to look so dumb. Because Mount is not going to disappear into nothingness. This guy is driven. This guy just wants to play and just wants to win. If he goes to Bayern, you will see he will keep getting called up by Gareth Southgate. He will win trophies in Thomas Tuchel's midfield. Thomas Tuchel will start Mason Mount. You know that. And if he doesn't go there, he goes to Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Makes me feel sick. I don't want to look like a mug. I don't want to look like a mug, baby. This is rough. But at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on in the background. He might be like, 400 grand a week or nothing. And then we'll be like, go away, mate. If he's like, look, 200k a week and I'm not signing an 8.5-year deal because I want to be in control of my career. I'm a bit older than these 8.5-year deal recent signings, so therefore it's more negative for me, detrimental. If he says, look, I'll sign a 5-year deal on 200k a week, you know, or whatever Reece James is getting paid, just give me what Reece James is being done. You know, that's 5 years, I'll on the same wage as him, I'll be available for every game. You know, I love this club, I'll be professional and I'll represent the club well and, you know, all that. Then you should just sign him. I don't know what this brother Paul Winstanley is doing, but like I said, until we know the truth, it's going to be very tricky. I am, like I said previously, reliably informed that he's not asking for silly money. So, Yeah, it's tough though. What do you think? Comment down below, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me here on Football Therapy. Thanks for liking the video, commenting, and subscribing. That's it for me. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!